Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome, y'all. It's a
Hey,
pleasure. We all out here. All three of us are feeling marvelous. I hope all of you are too. So, we have the wonderful Mahatma Starseed. We got Eyota Catori. We're here for this amazing, amazing episode, of talking about breathwork and its relationship to anime. With that being said, Eyota, would you like to introduce everyone to yourself?
peace, everyone. I'm Eyota Catori. Um, I do a lot of things and play with a lot of information. I guess one of them is breathwork. Um, I have no way I'm like a master at it, but it's just one of those things that I just study all the time. Just like everything. I guess like you guys are into anime and probably watch anime often. Um, any special information you would like because I can.
No, no, no. You're perfect. You're perfect. And Muhammad, yeah, would you like to introduce everyone again to yourself?
Peace and light, everyone. Peace and light. I am Mahatma Starseed. I am the founder of Elite Motivation. I help individuals tap more into their real lifestyle gaming experience. The best way that I've been saying it the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, I do the sound healing, really big on resetting the vibration. And I'm excited to share the space.
Right, lovely, lovely,
Woo-hoo.
lovely, lovely. Well, it's a pleasure to have both of you here, and I just wanted to start off by just giving us if Yoda, if you could just give us a brief explanation, not super long, just like a brief explanation for the people about what breathwork is.
Man, breathwork is just learning how to tap back into your natural ability to animate your life.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
like
That
it's
really
basically
ties in.
it's like your God given right here is to breathe, and a lot of us don't even do that right.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been programmed to not necessarily intake oxygen, which people now, I mean, not now, but a lot of gurus in India and everyone else or other places know as like chi or life force or prana. And that force basically that we're calling oxygen is basically God. It's like everything that sums up anything that ever lived, we have access to it through our breath. And if we're like, I'm gonna say if you're like in the Matrix or anything, and there's a lot of programming trying to get yourself off of breathing, take your mind off of correct breathing or using your force. So they've been trying to occupy our information, our minds to again. Okay, so I want to say that prana and life force and all that stuff is kind of like your imagination. That's basically what it is. We have the ability to be like anime, and we have not unlocked those codes in our DNA yet. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people watch that is something in them that knows and remember like what they can do or what they used to do. And so breathwork is just getting back into remembering that you have life force, you have animation, you have imagination, you have your belief, you have your power to animate yourself at your will, especially with mind and breath and visualization. You can then unlock yourself from this matrix. You can turn on, and again, that's why we get distracted a lot. That's why they keep us working. That's why we're focusing so much on the root chakra first, like financial. My whole thing is like if we just had everybody able to eat, everybody able to like, not worry about money, so like what would we do if we didn't have this game to play? You would likely end up breathing. And by breathing, you'll have time to sit and unlock your DNA and codes and travel. You won't even need to have to go anywhere. You'll be able to access your superpowers because then you can focus on your spiritual growth or moving up the chakras or, like, what Naruto and all of them speak of, like accessing their chakras. They feel like, they live in those tribes, we can be doing the same thing. They're giving us messages of what we used to be able to do with our life force here. We shouldn't be here trying to pay to eat food that is already here, like it's ours. So that is my, I guess, stint on breathwork, taking time to learn how to maximize bringing in that imagination into your body and animate it. And you post it a lot of times, it's like focus on your intent every time you breathe. And then they fill your mind up to think negative when you're taking those breaths in. So then you're always attracting negative situations, or you're not choosing the highest good of your situation. So it's mastery and thought and breath. So I guess that's my skill.
Oh, that was great. That was great. I absolutely loved that. I thought that you gave an amazing explanation. Couldn't ask for a better explanation than that. That was wonderful.
I never had that question asked before, so I appreciate that. Because I'm like, what it mean to me? And it's always, like I said, you never know what comes out. God force will come through you at any moment.
True. Muhammad, did you want to speak at all on breathwork, or would you like me to go into our first segment?
Paste everything Eyota said, and
yeah.
I definitely agree with that. I really appreciate the sound connection with activating, bringing the body to life, because it's definitely at that volume.
Yeah, I really appreciate the truly, as you mentioned before, Muhammad, and Eyota, the activation, and that people have the ability to actively breathe. You can do it passively, but you can also choose to do it, and that can be an experience in of itself. I absolutely love that. And that actually brings us into our first section. We're gonna go about talking about this JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I will read this description to all of you, right? So, the Ripple, also commonly referred to by its Japanese name as Hamon, is an energy used in the ancient form of martial arts, Sendo, way of the hermit/wizard. Through a self-controlled respiration, a trained person can produce an energy manifesting as ripples through their body that is identical to the energy of the sun, in polar opposition to energy exerted by vampires and zombies in this particular world. Right? So, in reference to that energy, right, the ripple is an energy identical to the sun's rays, right? So, which the human body can produce through controlled breathing, having the effect of producing and propagating from the bloodstream to the rest of the body and other objects in contact with it. Therefore, meaning these people are able to, in this particular anime, when they breathe, they transfer, or some would also say, chi energy to parts of their body, and they use it to defend against attacks and to also exhibit attacks on vampiric creatures of the night. With that brief explanation, what particularly interested one of you about that?
That they use the sun energy to like push off the vampires, because we all know vampires don't like the sun energy.
Yep. True.
So like metaphoric that they, I guess the ripples, again, they're using their imagination. They're talking to their sun. They're communicating with the energy around them, and then they're just putting it in their mind. They're animating it from their thought, and then it happens that it actually just blocks off vampires. And it just seems like regular day life. Like there's ways that you can do that yourself every day. You can imagine a force field around yourself. There's a breathwork there's like a technique I like to do in the morning before I get out the house or whatever, and I'll just like close my eyes and I imagine like all the forces around, that is like all the forces that are hitting my body from all directions, and I'll take it and then I'll fuse it with information or things that I wanted to have, and then I'll seal it so then I can be a magnet to those things throughout the day. And also, so I won't even have to worry about like dark energies coming around, because that's not even what I'm attracting in my field. So they're like using the mechanism of what I like to call spiritual technology. It's just taking thought and going into the ethers and making it happen there, so it can happen in the physical.
Yeah, going into your infinite kingdom inside of you, which is also connected outside too. But yeah,
it's all the same.
yeah. I'm sorry, how you were saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's really important for us to be able to understand our abilities and what we can hone. And I'm a firm believer that, once you can vibrate to a particular level, it's easier for us to be able to focus that energy and to streamline our, I guess you can call it, our chi force, and being able to understand that, the more streamlining it is, the powerful it's gonna be.
I'm loving this. That's a perfect segue, Mahatma. Streamlining, right? So let's streamline our way into this next anime, which is Demon Slayer, right? So, breathing styles are swordsmanship styles that make use of esoteric breathing techniques known as total concentration breathing, practiced and taught by members of the Demon Slayer Corps, and are used in combat by Demon Slayers, right? All known styles currently taught within the Demon Slayer Corps are derived from sun breathing. Interesting. This is a whole nother anime, and they're also talking about sun breathing. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it's the same studio. But the first one ever created. The majority of known breathing styles mimic a certain element of nature, flame, water, and wind, and replicates it with the user's movements, techniques, and abilities. The weapon attacks of Demon Slayers who use breathing styles are also longer ranged, possibly due to the shockwaves of air pressure generated from their weapon itself when swinging and striking. Right? So, interesting. It makes me think about there's I'm blanking on his name right now, but it will come to me before the end of this. There is a skateboarder who talked about how skateboarding is entirely breathing, and that's how he is so good, is that he is just in control of his breath, and there's nothing more than that. Is what he was talking about. Which talked about putting your breath into a physical object that is not it is attached to them, but not all the time. You get what I'm saying.
He's a master.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. He's famous. I'm trying to remember right now, but I will find that name before we finish this segment. But yeah, what you guys think of that aspect? Was find something you found interesting?
As far as him running the skateboard?
Oh no, just the breathing techniques of their sword styles.
Okay, I was like, oh, so they animate their sword too with their breath, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, what it reminds me of, I don't know if y'all watched that show called Black Lightning, and the daughter used her power with breathing. So her power is only good if she can take a breath.
Oh wow!
If she cannot breathe, right? If she cannot breathe, then she cannot use her powers, and she would have to take a deep breath. They literally create an extra noise for her for hearing her inhale.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just to indicate that she has to breathe for that to happen. Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
I want to watch some more, man.
I really like the Demon Slayer. That's one you had asked that right before we jumped on the live stream, and Demon Slayer is definitely one of mine, because you have to have so much poise, and when you're dealing with dark entities, they probably don't have fire burning inside of them, that eternal flame. It's probably an extreme, just a puff or an amber of heat. And so, you know, when you have the fire, you know, it's like it's a different kind of attraction. And all of the elements around us respond to us differently.
Man.
I really got tap into Demon Slayer. That sounds like a soul. Like I so spend my time watching that now.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is very good. As I said, the first season of JoJo's focuses more on Homon, which is about breathing. But like yeah, Demon Slayer I think does a really good job of expressing that, and in reference to like the fire inside of you, like in that show, depending on who you are, like demons will be more attracted to wanting to come after you and so forth. And
that's what. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and in that regard, it is Mahatma was speaking on in terms of the negative energies and the embers. It made me think of this small ember from like Howl's Moving Castle, and how like that small ember powers this entire like fortress, but it's not necessarily the size of your ember, but more so the character of it that determines how effective breath work could be for you as a being. And I guess it's like knowing yourself.
I feel like it speaks to me like how, you know, people like breath is to me like what parasites are inside the body. So I guess they're looking at it outside. It was like the demons, you know, those are things that are attracted to you because you're light. You got the fire inside of you. You got something that they don't have, or the energy. So you see people that can't find a light in themselves, so you call them vampires or you call them parasites, and they only want to feed off of your light, but because that's the only energy they know how to, you know, utilize. Like for you it's like it's a bad thing, but for them it's a good thing because they don't have anything else. So it's like, but the way you get like in my, I guess, holistics parts of life and training, it's kind of like breathing to get rid of the parasites. Like they don't like, I guess it's anaerobic. So whenever you breathe and put oxygen inside your body and stuff like that, they can't really stay in your body too much. So that's why breathwork is such a strong practice as well, is to rid yourself from parasites. So it just has this metaphorical, analogical thing to me when you was mentioning
it. That's deep. Especially the last part you just said. That's very deep. My gosh.
100%. And you know, fire can't survive without air.
True.
Yeah. That part, stay inflamed.
Stay inflamed.
Yeah.
So like, you know that thing they used to use to keep the flame going, like it's an open and close thing. It's like that pump. I don't know the name of this thing because we did not grow up then. But I think it's called like the smoker or something like that. And so like that, like that's like our lungs, you know, like we have to actually put, you know what I mean? Like we really have to like open it all the way, close it all the way, open it all the way, close it all the way.
Is the fire. Like our blood is fire. Like fire element is the blood element. Like I guess the blood is the fire element in our body, and like you said, the lungs and all of that is the smoker. To move the blood around, to pump blood everywhere.
Yeah,
so we can bring oxygen.
That speaks into what they were talking about in terms of you're exactly what you mentioned about what they were talking about using your blood. They breathe into their blood to get their sword to embody water or flame or wind, but also in the context like their breathing styles that they talk about in combat needs, depending on the combat styles, which was all in new forms. Like demon hunting, you can use such breathing styles that embody like a bigger variety of concepts like animals, plants, and emotions, and so forth, like love. Which I think every breath has love in it. What else would it have, in my opinion? Like that's like the highest form of love for yourself is to breathe.
Yeah. Wow.
Self a moment.
But
yeah, you know, that goes back right to like what Eyota was saying about they want us to stay in a stressful state. And when we're not taking these breaths, we're not able to like clear our minds, and we're not able to like actually make that powerful, strong choice.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's like holding your breath underwater and trying to swim. Trying to. It's like you've dropped something in some water and you're trying to fly it in. It's like it's hard to think when you can't breathe.
Have you ever saw like The Fifth Element?
Yes, I have.
So basically, I always feel like when you see like the upside down pentagram or the right side pentagram, it's like how the devil culture energy, satanic culture is like they use the upside down. And when they said when you use the upside down pentagram, which represents all the elements, it means like those elements are in control of you. But when you have the right side pentagram, that means you're in control of the elements. So it feels like, I guess, as the fifth element, they're like representing that fifth element, that energy that we all can be as an avatar here to wield those elements. Because they're the elements, they always say like they're not supposed to be your bitch. You're not supposed to be their bitch. You're supposed to make them your bitch, or like work along together with them. And it feels like when they're yielding the sword and they putting all the different elements in them, it's just because they are the avatar. They represent that human being that we can be when we yield in the elements regardless. But I guess the only way to do that is to connect with the breath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I balance. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
There's no need to control what you can't control.
That part.
Indeed. With that being said, though, I wanted to say, in terms of the recaps of what we talked about so far, what is one thing from each of you that you think you found particularly enlightening in our current conversation?
It was a couple of things. um, as far as enlightening, I just realized like I just need to watch more anime. I
Mm-hmm.
just be like lost because it's just like a whole nother world. Like I love psychic abilities. Like I even do like psychic ability reports to like tell people what abilities they have, and I was
Mm-hmm.
really into it for a very long time. But I also wanted to get, and I love that like anime incorporates all those parts of psychic abilities, and it's like a whole parallel world that people are getting ready to live while it's not here. So the fact that you guys are just like talking about it, it's just like, whoa, like the world is here, it's here. Because so many people are watching it and is bringing it from the ethers here. So I'm amazed, but I want to get in the mix too, and also use my life force energy to bring it here too. So it can just really force us to have these abilities.
I appreciate you saying that because like that has been the goal for a lot of this, and after moving with Toonamaste more towards just realizing that there's a whole lot of holistic aspects and storytellings in anime and video games, and it's not that like as you mentioned like it's here and people are literally interacting with it, dressing up as the characters that personify
Yeah,
these things, and they
yeah,
they themselves don't know they're actually interacting with this grand higher consciousness that is like yeah
yeah.
yeah
Like the higher self.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But they wanted to see that because it probably used to be like that here. We just dropped down in these low dimensions. And it's like, again, we're trying to remember what we did with our breath when we didn't have to worry about fucking paying for things.
Mm-hmm. And Muhammad, did you have anything you thought was particularly interesting from our conversation?
I really like being able to just talk about anime from this aspect, because like this is like one of the reasons why I really got turned like on to like anime. And not like the Airbender really helped to like
Oh,
bring
yeah.
a lot of like what we're creating, aligning with our chakras and stuff like that, and being able to like open up and understand it on that spiritual level. For me, I really firmly believe that anime is like really showing what kind of like play is unfolding while we're being like these 3D characters. Like
Yeah.
anime is energy is happening while we're being these 3D characters, and learning to be mindful of that difference is where it gets us to be even more powerful with our breath. Because I teach people to let them know, like, your spirit is going to go and do whatever you send it to do, and understanding what powers and abilities your spirit has is like very vital.
Hmm.
And being able to understand, like, when we're talking about the power of the breath, and looking at how it comes into our world in so many levels. Like, we could be, right now we're referencing it from, our lungs to out of our mouths and stuff like that. And we can always take it even bigger to, like, how our breath is engaging with the weather and stuff like that. Because you see, like, a lot of physical people have been shown that, you know, with their life force, that they're able to affect the weather.
The weather around.
And so the weather around them, and so being able to understand, like, how much we focus, how much we care to bring focus into our breath, will show us how many abilities we actually have to utilize with the expansion of our breath.
It's very interesting you speak on the weather around people, because like that immediately made me think about like people don't normally say it like this, but I'm gonna say it like this, which is like people talk about like the climate of a room, or but more so they say the vibe, but that's kind of what they're kind of saying. Like they can sense the air.
New breath in the air.
Yeah, the new breath in there, like the shifting of the air, the intentions behind the breath, and like it says a lot about the space that you're in. And I just want to say that is a very enlightening insight, and I really like that one. And I appreciate how both of your insights have led us to a deeper, fuller understanding of not only ourselves in the context of what we're doing with regards to breath and anime and the connection between it, but also how it ties into a bigger aspect of life in and outside of us in a grand universal scheme, and how everything is very interconnected. And with that interconnectivity, I would like to say we are about to end this wonderful stream. I would just want people to know one more time where they can find the both of you.
Okay. I'm Eyota Catori. You can find me on Instagram, and I also have a website. The website I'll give you is www.eyotacatori.com. That's www.eyotacatori.com. Or my Instagram is EyotaCatori_ITLC. That's my business, Intuitive Touch LLC. So find me there if you're looking.
I'm Mahatma Starseed, and you can find me on many different platforms. Just type in Elite Motivation 411. I offer all different modalities into activating yourself into more metaphysical lifestyle. So check me out. Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have both of you here. It is a pleasure. I am grateful for the experience that we have, and I think we should definitely do this again another time. This was fun. I enjoyed this. I gotta find more animes to talk about with you guys.
I'm gonna come back and watch some more animes, and I'll have more things.
Yo, it would be a pleasure. It'd be a pleasure. See, as I said, that's why I'm here. I got y'all. I don't have the knowledge y'all have, so we're all working together. And before we head out, I just want to say the skater I was talking about was Brandon Turner.
Brandon Turner. Okay.
Yep, Brandon Turner. So everyone have a fantastic night, day, morning, wherever you are in the world or when you watch this, and